Hi, Realtor Steve Hooper, SteveHooperHomes.com. Today I wanted to talk to you about multiple offers. In today's market, there are a lot of areas with homes under 400,000 that there is a lack of inventory, thus leading to multiple offers. So I wanted to give my sellers out there some things to look for on the contract to be aware of when your realtor says we have 10 offers and I'm bringing them over and I'm going to put them down in front of you and go over those offers with you. I wanted to give you some base knowledge so when you look at those offers you'll have some idea on what to look for and what's important on the contract. So the sales contract, as you know, is 13 pages. So I'm going to go over the basic areas on the 13 pages that you should definitely be aware of when deciding which offer sounds favorable to you. On page one, of course, purchase price, higher the better, obviously. Due diligence fee, that especially higher the better, because that's a personal check made out to the seller that you should cash right away. And even if the buyers get out of the property, that money is yours to keep. So you want to get that check, cash it, and you're good there. As far as earnest money or additional earnest money, also higher the better. But that money doesn't really come into play until after the due diligence period, which is a negotiated time period for that buyer to check out your home. And it's held in the escrow account and then applied to the purchase price. So the due diligence fee goes to you immediately, cash that check, earnest money held in escrow until past the due diligence period, and then it'll be applied at closing to the purchase price. Page two, most important things, the due diligence period. As a seller, you want that period to be as short as possible because then it gets them more into the contract because now their earnest money is at stake. And it also has on page two the settlement date, what your closing date is going to be, and obviously that would be important to you as well, especially if you're buying another house. The next page that's important is page 4, personal property. So here they have an area on page 4 for the buyer's realtor to write in what personal property they are asking for. Now, it's common for a buyer's agent to maybe ask for a refrigerator, which is personal property, not a fixture, or a washer dryer. But they can't ask for anything. They could ask for your dining room set, your patio furniture, whatever they want. They could put it in the contract. Now, a good realtor is not going to put that kind of those items in personal property because a lender doesn't really want to see that on the contract. They're giving you a mortgage to buy a house. They're not really giving you a mortgage to buy furniture for the house. So a good realtor would do a bill of sale contingent on the home closing at 0 cost or at a cost if they wanted to give them some money for the personal property. But you want to look at page 4 and see if they're asking for any personal property, and if so, what. Page 5. So page 5 is a really important page. This is a page you definitely have to pay a lot of attention to. On page 5, it lets you know, do they have another house to sell? Because if their offer is contingent on selling another house, that obviously would make their offer a little bit less desirable than somebody who did not have to sell another house. So that's huge to check that. And also on page 5, it tells you what kind of mortgage you're getting, if they're getting a mortgage. Obviously, cash is king. That's the saying, and it's true. If it's a cash deal, it can close fast. It's nice and smooth. Often they don't get appraisals. But if you do accept a cash offer, you do want to make sure they send a proof of funds. You want to make sure they have that cash before you go with that offer. If they are getting a loan, the best one for you as a seller would be the conventional mortgage. Because if you go government, if you go FHA, if you go VA, there are built-in protections in those government programs for the buyer. For example, FHA, if it appraises low, and in this market, Realtors are looking forward ahead. So if they see houses selling in a day or two, they may decide to push the envelope on the list price to get you the most money as their client. So they may price it high. But appraisers are looking backwards. They're looking at, they need 3 comps to justify that purchase price. So realtors look forward, appraisers are looking backwards. So sometimes in a competitive scenario with multiple offers, maybe that property is not going to appraise. And hopefully that buyer's agent had that conversation with them, and maybe they have a plan to pay the difference, or they're aware that the price they may have offered may not appraise. But you have to, as a seller, you have to protect yourself. So with the FHA, if it appraises low and they get out of the deal, that FHA appraisal is going to stay with the property for 4 months in the FHA system. So anybody else going FHA, they'd see that appraisal. If you go VA, they tend to be, for some reason, a little bit more conservative, the VA appraisers. And it also can be subject to, where the sellers have to make repairs. And they can also ask you to pay for some of the inspections, pest, septic well. So there can be some more costs for the seller on VA. So just be aware what kind of mortgage, when you're looking at them, conventional, FHA, VA, or cash obviously would be the best with no mortgage. Page 8's huge as well, because page 8 is where if the buyer's asking for seller paid closing costs, it's on page 8. So that great offer that you saw on page 1, and then you get to page 8 and they're asking for $7,000 in closing costs, well, now that great offer isn't as great. So definitely check out page 8 to see if there are any buyers asking for you, the seller, to pay any of their closing costs. Page 9 is also important. That lets you know, are they asking for a home warranty? That's going to be a few $100s. That affects your bottom line. So you definitely want to look at page 9 on home warranty, whether or not they're asking for one. And page 9 and 10 is where the addendums are. So you want to know, is it just 13-page contract, or is it 13 pages plus an addendum, some other additional provisions, or FHA or VA, or definitely contingent sale addendum. So you want to know, is this a whole contract? So I would say those are the major items on the 13-page contract for you to be aware of. Of course, your realtor is going to go through all the contracts page by page, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the contract as sellers, so you would have an idea of what to look for. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.